Welcome to Happy Hour, brought to you by Best Damn Bookkeeping. First little update on Best Damn Bookkeeping. And I realized I probably need to give an update on this because this week I have 3 people that booked demos with me that were like, I didn't know you weren't at Blue Skies anymore. And I'm just like, oops, like I'm not trying to like announce to the world that I left Blue Skies. But I do think it's funny that I thought everybody knew that I wasn't there anymore. And then I realized like, oh, there's just people like that aren't, always listening to I talked to one guy today. He's like, yeah, I heard you on Keith's podcast talking about this. And are you ever going to do another podcast? And I was like, yeah, dude, like we're going on in 30 minutes here. Home Service Happy Hour. Come and check it out. He's like, the only reason I liked working with you was because you have your podcast and that's so fun. And I was just like, I have one. Like I do have one.
We have one.
Yeah, we're here. And so I realized like, oh man, I gotta like tell people what I'm up to. So Best Damn Bookkeeping, I started as of September 1st, just from scratch, from the ground up. And very much like a rebuild of a bookkeeping business, take 2. And it was interesting trying to like redesign a business that you've already done once. It felt like, like I built the Blue Skies bookkeeping business. And then for reasons I decided to exit and start anew. And it kind of felt like when you build a badass spreadsheet or if you're more mechanical, maybe you like put together a piece of equipment and then you flip the on switch and it all breaks apart and you just did all this work and you're like, oh no, I need to start over again. And it's so defeating in the moment. And you're just like, oh, like somebody get me a bush light is all you're kind of thinking. And then when you start taking a step back and rebuilding it, you're like, well, like here's some things I would do differently and here's some things I would do differently. And once you get into rebuilding it, you're kind of in like, fuck yeah mode. Like you get really excited about it because you're like, oh yeah, like now if I just do this a little bit differently and this a little differently, I get like this much more horsepower and I get this much more going on. And so it's been so much more fun. Like I was excited to do my own thing and spin off and start my own business up. But honestly, I didn't have a good appreciation for how freaking fun it was going to be. And so we're in month 4, I guess, like just after month 4. We got a badass new reporting software. Shout out to Megan Likes for cluing me into LiveFlow. She was like, Dan, you got to use this thing. And shout out to LiveFlow for sending me this badass koozie. But one thing that I realized I need to do differently is like really educate our clients. And so when we send out a month-end report, and thank God for like Megan also said, why aren't you using Angela? You need to use Angela. And I'm like, yeah, I know Angela. I'm familiar with Angela. I could probably. So Angela has helped me find all my bookkeepers. They're freaking phenomenal. Shout out to Jason and Shane, and probably a 3rd bookkeeper coming soon at the rate we're growing. I think it's hard when you run a recurring service business. People are like, how many clients you got? I'm just like, I don't know. Because we have so many that are on recurring, but at any point in time, we probably have like 20 that are in onboarding, and some onboards take a minute and some onboards take a minute, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think we're over 50 clients now. And we're probably going to average 10 plus a month. And so it's just like trying to keep up with that pace and get the resources in place and all that. Hey, home service heroes, thank you guys so much for tuning into our home service happy hour content today. I sure hope you learned a little something, and I sure as heck hope that it was entertaining. If you did find it fun and entertaining, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for more cool, fun, entertaining business content. And speaking of which, stay tuned. There's a little more here and a little more right here. Check it out.